How is everybody doing? We are great locker room guys, and we are here to talk a different Chicago sports team every week. I am Big Chuck, that is Sackman. I got my guy Burnsy over on the right side of your screen there. This is our second episode of Great Locker Room Guys. We had a lot of fun last week talking the Chicago Bears, their NFL draft, some of the other big names that came out of that draft class. It's going to be a lot of fun watching that team. But what's not fun all the time is watching the Chicago Bulls, which is who we wanted to get into this week. We will be diving into the NBA playoffs and how the Chicago Bulls can match the success of some of these other teams that are still playing in the playoffs, some of the teams that have gotten some upsets here in the second round. Let's get right into that beginning of the second round here. Sackman, Burnsy, it's been pretty exciting in the first couple of games of these series. Sackman, what is one team that you are watching heavily right now that has just surprised you beyond belief?
Right now, I got to say it's the Knicks. I've always kind of liked the Knicks just because, at one point they were like Chicago East with Thibodeau and all his guys. But the fact that they went into Boston and won game one like that after not beating Boston or Cleveland all regular season and having some pretty ugly games against them to go in and win that game and have OG Anunoby and Michael Bridges basically match Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, I thought that was just amazing.
Yeah, guys, that game was absolutely electric. Like going from like I think they were 10-point underdogs. Yeah, going into the Garden, and Jalen Brunson's just he's a killer, and he's been that way. Like obviously, you guys know him in college, but in high school, I literally watched him play in the state championship. It was in Peoria. I forget who they were playing against. He literally, I was in like the 10th row. He crossed somebody up right in front of me and hit a three right in his face. And I was like, holy shit. And then the dude behind me is like, yeah, that dude's going to Villanova. And I'm like, ever since then, like, I was like, man, this dude's going to be awesome. And to see this, like, it's just so well deserved. So yeah, I'm with you, Alex. The Knicks have
Yeah.
been great. It's the Nuggets too, for me, have been a really fun team to watch because if you guys seen the last game, I mean, another team like 9 or 10 point underdogs going into OKC, and the Nuggets just fired Mike Malone like 2 weeks ago, like a
Yeah.
week before the you know what I mean the playoffs.
Jokic is coaching the team now.
That's
He's like Bill
yes,
Russell, player
yes.
coach.
Jokic was literally coaching the team, and he had like 42 and 22. Like the dude is such a beast. So it's going to be fun watching. And we got really good series going on right now. I think unfortunately the one that's really hurting is the Cavaliers because their team's just getting the injury bug at the absolute worst time.
But that's who the Cavs are. That's who the Cavs have been for the past couple seasons. Jared Allen has not been able to stay on the court over the course of the 3 seasons that he's been a part of this Cleveland Cavaliers squad, or at least this iteration of the Cleveland Cavaliers squad. Darius Garland has not been able to stay on the court. DeAndre Hunter, even when he was in Atlanta before he got traded to Cleveland, wasn't really able to stay on the court all that much. Evan Mobley has honestly been the only person that has been able to stick within that lineup. And when you can't get the type of offensive production out of a guy like Evan Mobley, like you can out of a Darius Garland, or again, even a DeAndre Hunter to some degree, that's going to get you screwed in series like this. I think the saving grace is that you have a guy like Donovan Mitchell who scored 50 plus points in the playoffs multiple times up to this point. He helps you out a little bit. I think the only thing that scares you is that a team like the Indiana Pacers, who take out the Milwaukee Bucks once again in the first round, are really just built off that momentum. And if you give them momentum early in the series, like they have so far, just by being injured, you're going to fall behind to a team that is really just juiced up to get going for this playoffs. And you talk about the New York Knicks, that is another team that is very much in that same caliber where if they can get going, you're done. You can't do anything against them. Now, the Knicks are a lot better of a basketball team, just roster makeup wise, than the Indiana Pacers. But at the same time, how do you stop that if you're the Cleveland Cavaliers, if you're the Boston Celtics, and you are injured, you are missing shots? How do you slow down that momentum?
Yeah, see, here's the thing. I 100% what you said. I 100% agree. The Knicks are a better basketball team on paper than the Pacers. Like they just are. Like they're a way better overall team. But the Pacers situation right now is just like going 2-0 because the first game obviously it was close, they won it, but the second one it was up until like 10 minutes before game time, and then Garland and Evan Mobley were just ruled out. And
Right.
like nobody, I didn't see one thing all day that said they were not going to play. So like that was just like immediately the Pacers pounced on them. Like they pounced, they took care of business. And I don't know if you guys watched that, but if anybody watching this podcast, go and do yourself a favor and watch the clip. The Pacers were down by like 7 with like a minute 20 left, and they won. It was
Yeah,
unbelievable.
that was
Like,
just a choke job.
dude, and then
I mean,
Halliburton he missed the free throw to tie it, gets
that's
his
his
own
own
rebound,
rebound.
and drills a three to win it.
Uh,
Like, oh my god, you can't make it
and
up.
then he
It's
hits the big ball dance afterwards too, right?
Yeah,
yeah, dude. So
Pacers
it's
are just that team no one wants to play.
yeah,
They push the pace. They play hard at all times. They have 5 capable 3-point shooters on the court, and they get a lot. They shoot a lot of threes. If they make them, they're gonna be very damn near unbeatable. I
yeah.
mean, they got a good veteran in Siakam. They got Miles Turner. I mean, obviously Halliburton. That's 3 All-Star caliber players. And then Aaron Nesmith will go out and look like Michael Jordan last night,
He
dunking
was
from like the
dumb.
free throw line and getting 20 plus points.
Yeah,
And then like they
absolutely.
just always have some rando like have like a dominant game, whether it's Nemhard, Shepard, Obi Toppin,
Andrew
somebody.
Nemhard's one of the greatest
McConnell,
playoff basketball performers of all time. Come on now. Give him his respect, man.
13 assists yesterday, man. I mean, it's crazy. And then another series though, the Warriors Timberwolves guys. Curry, the first half, I think it was he started with what like 11 or something. He was getting going, and then he pulled his hamstring, ruled out for the game. And immediately at that point, they were up by 10 on the Timberwolves. And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
like, the Timberwolves are coming back, like, they're going to win this. They did not. And I feel like, and when they signed Jimmy Butler for like was 61 mil, I was like, holy shit, like 61 mil for Jimmy Butler, like at this point. But he's gonna prove now why he's making that 61 mil. Like he's gonna like I just have a feeling like he's gonna ball. Everyone's expecting, the Timberwolves to just destroy them now with Curry out. I don't think so. Like from what Butler's done the past like several seasons with the Heat, with the Bulls, like I'm excited. It's gonna be cool. Like it's gonna be a good series.
Yeah, they say that championship DNA last night. They just clamped them up, stopped
Yeah,
Anthony Edwards for an entire half. I mean, that was just a coaching masterclass.
dude.
If you're
What was it? One
comparing,
point in 20 minutes? Like
yeah,
crazy.
just absurd. Like it's just again, not even just coaching, but the effect that a guy like Draymond Green has on that team that people just don't really feel when you're watching the box score or paying attention to the game that way. He just has this energy that is infectious, and especially for a guy like Jimmy Butler who feeds off that type of energy so well and then uses it to create the type of offense that he is known to be able to do is just unbeatable sometimes. Comparing this Indiana Pacers team to this Golden State Warrior team a little bit, feels like the Indiana Pacers are playing a little bit style of basketball that seems almost outdated to this point. It feels like it's something that the Warriors were playing in that mid 2010s type of style. Do you feel like that is something that they can work with moving forward here and actually win a championship behind? Or is that, again, too far gone to the point where teams with the bigs that are able to do a little bit of everything on the court have kind of taken over? Are the Pacers just kind of done in the water, but the Golden State Warriors, who have adapted their game, changed it to be more of a defensive focused team, are they in a better position even without Steph Curry than an outdated style scoring system like the Indiana Pacers at this point?
Go, Nate.
I was just gonna say, man. I mean, honestly, and like Alex said earlier, like the Pacers they got a squad, and it's like Siakam's an NBA champion. Like they got championship experience. They know what he knows what they have to do to get it done. And Miles Turner's been awesome. Like one of the best defenders. Like, and then like Alex was saying, Neesmith last night, like it's every time I see him hit the ball, he was shooting or he was drilling a shot. And, to the point like with the Warriors, when Draymond, I think he was like 4 for 5 from 3 last night. When he's shooting like that, the Warriors are gonna win. I mean, like when he's, you know what I mean? Like when even he's making them. So with your question, Charlie, I feel like I don't know. I feel like I still would rather be in the Pacers position because 2-0 right now, you're coming back home. Like, I don't know. Like it's looking really good, especially if Garland's out again and Evan Mobley. If either of one of them are out, like it's looking bad for them. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think when you watch this team play basketball, the Indiana Pacers, that is, again, when they get up and they get going really early, they're fine. They're one of the most electric basketball teams to watch. But if they get shut down early, if a team even sniffs that they are not at 100% the Pacers team that they were maybe the night before, 2 nights before, they're kind of dead in the water. If a team can get up 20 points early on the Pacers, 15 points early on the Pacers, they have to then make adjustments. And that is not a team that is set to make adjustments. They're a team that if their initial plan is working, you keep hammering that. And if it doesn't work, you're kind of screwed. And again, you saw that against the Milwaukee Bucks. The one game that the Pacers lost was the game where the Bucks were able just to control the pace and play their own style of basketball. When they were able to do that, the Pacers were just freaking out. I think when you look at a team like the Golden State Warriors, they have all this veteran presence that has been in those positions. We've talked about Draymond Green and his championship mentality and what he's brought to this team. Jimmy Butler, like we said, has dragged 2 dead Miami Heat teams to the NBA Finals within the past 6 years. That's just not something that anybody can do. And this Indiana Pacers team that doesn't have that same kind of championship pedigree or mentality, I just don't think will be able to drag themselves to the same kind of heights that a team without a Steph Curry, but also still has a Jimmy Butler can in that system.
Yeah, I mean, if Cavaliers were fully healthy right now, like it wouldn't even be a debate for me. I'd be picking the Cavs to win the series. But there's something about, Halliburton's playing with the chip on his shoulder. Like I think he got voted the most, like out of his peers, like the most
Most overrated.
overrated NBA player. Like that, what is more of a bigger FU? You know what I mean? Like to the guy. And like, so I don't know. He's playing with a big chip on his shoulder and it's like trying to prove something. And I know a lot of people, like, even if they do beat this Cavs team in this series with kind of being injured, I know people are going to like discredit them with that. Like, I do think even winning these two at or at Cleveland, like that's an accomplishment in itself to be up 2-0 coming at home. Like that's big time for the Pacers. So I feel like I don't know, next round, I don't know who would they be playing against. It would depending obviously who'd win the other series, but I don't know. Like Cavaliers being healthy, I do want to go on record. Like I would not be talking the Pacers up like this right now because I think they'd
Right.
be down 0-2.
I get you. With Tyrese Halliburton, him getting voted most overrated, why do you think that was the case in the end? What makes Tyrese Halliburton overrated in your mind, or do you even feel like he's overrated? Do you feel like this is just something that other players don't like him? I mean, that's how it kind of felt like with Rudy Gobert, who's been winning that award for the past 3 or 4 seasons. It was just kind of felt like people didn't like Rudy Gobert despite him being a dominant defensive player still.
Yeah, see, that's a really good question. And it's the same thing for Gobert. Like he is amazing at defense and he's amazing at rebounding. Like he knows his role and he's great at it. But they both share the same thing is the points where it's like they're not high point scorers. And everybody wants to like say, oh well, other stats matter, but points, everybody looks at points, and that's kind of like their first instinct. And Halliburton, in my opinion, is one of the best pure point guards in the NBA. Like he averages 10 assists easily a night. Like the dude is a pure passer. He doesn't turn the ball over a lot. Like I don't think he's overrated. I think he's very good. I wouldn't say he's a top 5 top 10 guard, but I do think he's really good. And for passing ability, I do think he's top 3. Like he's up there.
So who would you put over him in that guard list? Like who are the at least 5 guards you would put ahead of him? No, let's do 10 because I don't think he's even close to top 5. Who are like the
Right.
10 guards you would put ahead of him?
Well, Anthony Edwards, um, Steph Curry. Uh, I'm just trying to think of guards that are, in the playoffs right now.
Like
Uh,
Shea, obviously.
Brunson,
Shea,
Shea.
Yep.
Jamal Murray, possibly.
I don't know
Um,
if I'd put Jamal Murray over Tyrese Halliburton, especially after this season. Jamal Murray was just so disappointing this season and last season. Like maybe 2 years ago when they won the championship, I would agree with you. At the same time, he just hasn't been able to do that.
No, I still think like I don't know. I'm just thinking of guys that are kind of on the level. I mean, because the dude's still really good. I mean, here's the thing: Murray's got the best player in the world next to him the last 5 years. So, I mean, yes, that could be helping his case, but at the same time, that's taking away his half of his assists. Like,
Well,
so many shots.
I think that hurts him more than anything. The fact that he's not performing with one of the greatest players of all times right next to him. Nikola Jokic has this insane ability to just make people be open, and Jamal Murray is open a lot, and then he just fucks it up every single time. It feels like either dribbles way too much, doesn't take the shot, or he's just not on for that day, and he doesn't make shots. You
Yeah,
can't be a championship contender, and I don't think you can be a top 10 guard if that's the case.
yeah. He hasn't been the same since his injury for sure. Like, I mean, like it's definitely. I mean, what was that 2 years ago now? Like, he
Yep.
had a really bad injury at one point. I remember, but
It was after the bubble, right? Like the season after the bubble, because he had the
Yeah.
amazing bubble run, got hurt, and then they had the finals run the year after.
But another guy, Donovan Mitchell, you know what I mean? Honestly, like, it's easier to say, like, if we're counting, like, I don't know, Luca, obviously, but I don't know if we count him as a guard. But
What
yeah,
about the guy that he just played in the first round of the series or didn't play in the first round? A guy like Damian Lillard. Is he better than a Damian Lillard right now in your mind?
I don't think so.
Point no.
Don't I? Okay. Here's the thing, though. Like, Damian Lillard again for scoring, but all around game, I would go with Halliburton right now. Like, I just think like he's got the more all around game, and I just think I don't know. Dame and Giannis. I don't know how you don't even get to the next round. Like, I know there's kind of injuries, and it's just been like wishy washy with the whole team. But that's ridiculous. That's 60 points right there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, right in those two guys. Like, so I don't know. It's
Okay. I have one more for you. This is if both these guys are healthy in a vacuum, they're 100% at the top of their game. Tyrese Halliburton or Lonzo Ball.
Halliburton.
Yeah, as much as I'd love to say because Lonzo was a G for the
Just,
Bulls.
but uh, I'm taking into account like defense as well. A prime like Lonzo Ball at healthiest is 5 times the defender Tyrese Halliburton is at healthiest. And I think Lonzo Ball passing wise is pretty maybe not at the same level as Tyrese Halliburton, but I think he's close enough. 3-point wise, I think they're pretty equal. Like I think
Oh yeah,
Lonzo
I
Ball
give it
does a
to
lot of things that Tyrese
I
Halliburton can
give
do.
it I give it to Zoe, yeah, for 3 pointers. But speaking of Ball, okay, how about this? Halliburton or LaMelo Ball? Because honestly, I'd go LaMelo
Halliburton.
Ball.
LaMelo Ball doesn't
Really?
play winning basketball. It's
Oh,
like he's at the YMCA. I mean, it gets to
but
a point
dude,
where like, when is he gonna start taking this shit serious? And he plays like 25 games a year.
but here's the thing though. In his how many years has he been in the NBA? 3 or 4, maybe
6,
now.
5, 5.
Has he really been that? Wow, time's going by fast, boys. Damn. Okay, but still, in 5 seasons, who's been his best teammate? Miles
Miles
Bridges?
Bridges.
Miles
That's what
Bridges
I'm
or like
saying.
Gordon Hayward when he first got there.
But that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. These guys are shit. Like, it's not his fault that they're not putting winning players around him. Like, and honestly, like, I, yeah, I agree with you though too on the injury bug. Like, he does get injured, but when the dude's out there, he can ball. Like, I mean, like, I'm interested to see a team like trade for him or I'd like to see where John Morant and John Morant's another one. I'd rather have John Morant, like, you know what I mean, probably than Halliburton. What do you guys think for Ja?
With John Morant,
Halliburton.
I would probably rather have Halliburton just because I think
Really?
John Morant is a more electric player for sure. John Morant is one of the most exciting players in the NBA right now when he's healthy. So that's the first thing is that he's not always on the court either. He's almost as bad as some of these other dudes we're talking
Yeah, no.
about. And when you go from a guy like I guess LaMelo Ball to a guy like John Morant, there's things about LaMelo Ball's game that I still see being able to grow. There's things about John Morant's game and really kind of the whole way that he plays. All I see is that he's going to tear his ACL in 3 years. I see Derrick Rose. And because of that,
Yeah.
I think I would rather have a guy like Tyrese Halliburton who's shown that he can stay on the court more often than not, who shows that he has a play style that I think grows or lends more to longevity than a guy like Ja Morant. And that's part of the reason I would take that. Going back to like a guy like LaMelo Ball, I think that's more intriguing, despite him being on the court even less than a guy like Ja Morant. I still feel like, again, he has parts of his game that lend to growth more so than I think Ja Morant does. And when I compare a guy like Tyrese Halliburton and a guy like LaMelo Ball, like you guys talk about, his teammates not being there is a huge factor. But at the same time, if they felt like he was good enough to build around, you would think they'd be a little bit more aggressive to do so. I think I look at a team like Minnesota, who is a very similar franchise to a team like Charlotte. In the same year that Charlotte drafts LaMelo Ball, Minnesota drafts Anthony Edwards. I think when you allow Anthony Edwards to grow and you can see the promise that he has, that's when that team goes and makes a Rudy Gobert trade. That's when that team goes and moves on from a Karl-Anthony Towns. We haven't seen Charlotte put that same kind of confidence into a guy like LaMelo Ball yet, and I think that speaks volumes about what they think he can do. A guy like Tyrese Halliburton, it seems like Indiana's been more ready to give him pieces. And I think that says to me, I'd rather have a Halliburton than a Melo Ball because his organization believes in him more.
No, that's a good point, boys. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. The injury bug, I can't argue with that one. I mean, he is injured a lot. I just think like I don't know. You're right. Like when the guys are so special, you do build around them. But at the same time, the Hornets are such a shit franchise that
Right.
it's like, you know what I mean? That it's like I don't even know if they would do that. You know what I mean? Where it's like because the only other guy, what's his face, Bridges, and then I'm trying to think. Like, really trying to think.
I
Like,
mean,
there's
Mark Williams is a dog, but they wanted to get rid
oh
of him. Just LA couldn't get the trade to go through because of the injury or
Dude, he
medical
is.
reports.
He's an awesome player, and they wanted to get rid of him. He was a dog. You're
It's kind of
right. Good,
sad.
Marco. Yeah, no, but I don't know. Okay, but you said you brought this up. What do you guys think? Who is benefiting more from the cat trade? Because I think at first I thought it would be decent for the Timberwolves when they did it, but now it's just like I don't know. I don't know why they did that. Like I don't know why they got rid of Cat over Randall.
The money, they didn't want to pay him. Glenn Taylor's has a history of being cheap. They didn't feel like paying him, and then you get Randall, who okay, you can make the case he's an all-star, but he's just not very efficient, especially in the playoffs. And then you get DiVincenzo, who just had a career year, and they're cheaper than Towns. So he was like, screw it, let's do that.
Well,
Yeah.
and like Carl Anthony Towns, the thing with him is that, yes, he is by far the greatest shooting big man of all time, but he's also by far one of the worst defensive big men of all time. And I
Yeah.
understand that Minnesota last season ended the season as one of the best defensive teams in the league. I think actually they had the best defensive rating out of any team in the league. At the same time, that was when they were running defenses out there that didn't really involve Carl Anthony Towns, or they would send him out to the corner to help kind of defend on the perimeter a little bit more, just because he wasn't able to hold his own in the paint. That's the reason you go and make a trade for a guy like Rudy Gobert. And then you have this big clog because Carl Anthony Towns is still a 7-foot guy. He's still somebody who cannot be that power forward for you for the future. Julius Randle, while maybe not as good of a player, I think just fits into the mold of this team a little bit better. And that's why you do that trade. Dante DiVincenzo comes in and helps give you, again, a piece off the bench that you just didn't really have before this. I think Carl Anthony Towns is a great player, but sometimes you have to add by subtracting. And this was one of those moves for the Timberwolves that I think during the season, people didn't really understand and were watching and were saying, you didn't even add, you just subtracted by subtracting. But at the same time, now you're seeing the results. You're seeing Anthony Edwards grow as a leader, as a player on this team. You're seeing Jaden McDaniels step up as a player. And then on the opposite side of things, the Knicks got the right thing. I really think this was a win-win trade for both teams up to this point because you look at it, they're at the same spot right now. They're both still in this conference semifinals. I mean, this is what you needed out of these trades. It helped both of them take that next step. I mean, yes, it looked like a Knicks win right away, but right now I'm thinking the Timberwolves didn't really lose as much as people want to say they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Alex.
I agree with that. I mean, as time goes on, the team really, I felt, started to play better and gel. They got off to kind of a rough start, but I mean, now look where they are. I mean, they just upset the Lakers. I think they could win this series. I mean, they'll be back in the Western Conference Finals. I think it
I
was.
wouldn't be surprised if they at least took this series to a 7-gamer.
Oh yeah, especially with Steph being out for the next week.
Mm-hmm.
See, I think where the Timberwolves have to absolutely attack now, and it goes against like what we were saying before, but they have to go with Gobert now. Like Gobert has to attack. Like they don't have uh a center that can honestly even be close to guard him. I mean, what right now, like Kayvon Looney comes in for what 12 minutes a game. Like they have. That's what I would be doing if I was the Timberwolves. I don't know, but like it was funny because the series before though, the first 3 games, I think Gobert averaged like 4 points. Like, and it was just like they weren't giving him the ball. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they do that, but like I said before, I think Jimmy Butler's gonna really turn it up. Like, this game too will be so telling for like both sides. I feel like.
And that's the biggest thing for a lot of these series is I think what we're hinging on is a lot of these game twos to tell us how we should feel about them. The Knicks and Celtics, that was an awesome win from the Knicks. But at the same time, this is an amazing Celtics team that looked like one of the best teams in the league for a majority of the season. What are the odds they shoot as poorly as they did in game one? What are the odds they defend as poorly as they did in game one? Not very high. The Cleveland Cavaliers are a lot better of a team. When they can get healthy, I think they can easily defeat this Indiana Pacers team. But at the same time, if the Pacers get hot, anything can happen. You look at the Thunder and the Nuggets. That is a championship-winning team against one of the best young teams anybody has ever seen all time. That's a phenomenal series that is going to be experience versus just energy and youth. And then lastly, the Golden State Warriors and the Minnesota Timberwolves. You're just getting 2 really well-built teams facing off, and now it's really about which coach is going to be better in the long run of things and who takes advantage of those moments. It's really exciting to watch an NBA playoffs where you can be invested in almost every single series. That doesn't happen very often. There is one team that is not in this NBA playoffs. They did make it to the play-in game and then got their ass beat in the play-in game as well. The Chicago Bulls are looking a little bit different after the trade deadline this year. It's a team that is not very exciting. It's a team that we're hoping can make some other big changes this offseason. Looking at some of these playoff teams that are still going, what is one key thing that you're seeing from the 8 teams that are left that you think the Bulls could implement this offseason?
I think first and foremost, you look at Indiana, you look at Boston, you look at Cleveland. One thing they all have in common is they have an athletic, like rim running, shot blocking center. You know, Mitchell Robinson, Jared Allen, Miles Turner, even with a little 3-point shooting ability. We don't really have that right now. Vooch is not a rim protector. I mean, Matas led us in blocks this year. I think we need to go out and get, whether it's in the draft or if it's in free agency, we gotta go get a real like shot blocking, rim running center.
And I also think too, like a big thing for the Bulls is they have to cut tie. Like, and I know they can't now because they just re-signed him, but Patrick Williams like just needs to get out of the rotation. The dude's a piece of shit. Like he sucks. Like, and it's so annoying seeing him take minutes from other players on the Bulls. And I totally agree with Alex. Like Vooch, as funny as it is, had a career year for the Bulls, but the dude's so slow that and can't stand every time he shoots a three, I want to punch my TV. Like it's literally like I hate centers that shoot threes. I'm not a guy for that. But I don't know. Like it just they need defense. That's my biggest thing. They need defenders, like, and they need to stop like relying on threes because the Bulls, I think, were one of the most three-pointing teams in the league, like shooting a game. So I don't know. That would be my 2 things: defense and like kind of just getting somebody that can stretch the floor and faster. You know.
I get you. And with Vucevic, my biggest issue with him is that this is the same exact play style that you knew you were going to get when you fucking traded for him from Orlando. This is what he played in Orlando every time. Yes, it made him an all-star, but it was with a team that was basically filled with nobodies around him. Obviously, he's going to go and ball out. He's a very skilled player. But when you mix him with a bunch of other players that are just talented as well, DeMar DeRozan is the exact same way. He has never played winning basketball besides making it to the playoffs. And for some reason, the Bulls thought they could just take him to the next level. When in reality, he was playing with some very talented Toronto Raptors teams that could have made it to the NBA Finals, but because he couldn't step up or because Kyle Lowry couldn't step up on those teams, they fell apart. The moment they get rid of him, it
They go to
immediately
the
ends up in
yeah,
an
they
NBA
win it.
championship.
Yeah, they win it.
With a guy that has a winning pedigree behind him. I think Lonzo Ball, you could say the same thing about. I think Zach LaVine, you could say the same thing about. And you see that now with the teams that they're with. The Sacramento Kings trade for Zach LaVine to bring him in just to recreate basically the same exact team that the Chicago Bulls had. And you saw what happened. This team, the blueprints are laid out right in front of you. And like you guys are talking about, getting an athletic center, getting a wing that can actually play defense and shoot threes, not just one or the other like you get out of Patrick Williams on a nightly basis. That's what pisses me off so much about him. And we talk about LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards and all these other guys that are from his draft class. And it seemed like Patrick Williams at that point of that draft class was a reach then too. When the Bulls took him 4th overall, it was like, what the fuck are we doing? This is one of the dumbest decisions on earth. Yeah, you can call him the paw, but that doesn't mean he's just automatically going to become an all NBA defender. It doesn't automatically mean he's going to become one of the most athletic freaks that we've ever seen play basketball like Kawhi Leonard is.
Yeah.
That's not how that shit works. It's absurd. And the fact that he's still getting run in this lineup after in the first place he was a fucking reach doesn't make any sense at all.
And they reward them. They extend them.
Exactly.
Like, it's on. I finally thought, like, I'm like, yeah, they'll finally just bite their loss, take their losses, where they get them, and just admit he sucked. And they reward him. I'm like, I don't understand. Like, I mean, the one thing I'll give the Bulls that majority of Chicago fans were pissed off. I will love to say that I was one of the few. I was happy, but when we got rid of Caruso for Giddey, I mean, everybody was like, "What the fuck?" Like Giddey, like what, like we're because he's a beast defender. But let's be honest, the dude can't play offense for shit, and like Josh Giddey can almost average a triple double, and the dude's 22 years old. Like, so the potential's there. I mean, so they really hit it on the head with that. I love Kobe White, so like those are two players, and then I like their rookie too, Matas. So I don't know. They got a few good guys I would definitely build around, but the problem is too, it's not like they're getting a top 3 pick or a guy that like a game changer. And then if they did, they would just take somebody like Patrick Williams and fuck it up. So, it's a tough position. They're a rebuilding team, and it's like they're definitely years out because I'm realizing like the more and more years that we get older and kind of see these NBA drafts, like guys, the number one picks that are like truly special, like they do pan out. Like if you look at okay, Paolo Banchero, like the Magic were pieces of shit and they were in the playoffs. Like he transformed it. He's a baller, like 25, like 5 or 25, like 8 and 6. Like the dude's a beast. Same thing, Cade Cunningham, the Pistons were a laughing stock for a long time. Like they sucked. Like, and now they were in the playoffs. Like two teams that nobody are not used to saying, like Magic and the Pistons were both. It's nice. It's a breath of fresh air. Like the number one picks, you gotta hit on them. And Wemby's gonna be the same way. The Spurs are gonna be amazing. Cooper Flag, I think, is gonna be the same way. Unfortunately, this year for the Hawks, this had to have been the shittiest draft class ever because I don't think that any of these guys are going to be impact players like that. But yeah, it's just like it's really important to get, yes, like you sign guys and you build your team through free agency, but like you also, it is important to kind of land or to start from ground zero and get the number one pick. And I know that sounds shitty. Like I'm not saying tank, but you almost have to hit rock bottom to get out of it because otherwise you're going to be like the Bulls and just be bottom feeders and just be kind of getting in and out. Like, yeah, you're not the worst, but you're nowhere near good. Like, you're just above average. Like, you're just average. Like, and it's like, fuck that. Like, you know what I mean? There's no point in that. Like, we
Right.
either you win or you lose. Like, and if you're not a winning team, then what are we doing? So it's like they got to get some stuff going, and just be more consistent.
Well, and you had said, and no, you don't try to tank. Well, honestly, fuck that. Tank. If that's what it
Exactly.
takes,
Thank you.
then
Yes,
do it.
yes,
I mean,
yes.
you saw teams like the Jazz right now who are currently in the process of doing that. They've stockpiled picks up to this point, and they've also still found a way to have semi-fun basketball to watch. The Oklahoma City Thunder did that by going and getting a Chris Paul, and somehow they still made the playoffs and got hundreds of picks out of that.
Yeah.
Insane. And they still made fun basketball. That's what matters the most with this whole entire situation is that you can lose, but you can still have a plan and still entertain your fans. I think the problem with this Bulls team right now is that they're trying to win, but they don't have a plan. I think when we talk about the Orlando Magic, who are one of my favorite teams in all of sports right now, just because they're so much fun to watch, but they
Yeah.
had a plan when they built that team. They had a plan when they got Paolo Banchero of who they wanted around him. Franz Wagner is a great pairing for a guy like Paolo Banchero because he has that 3-and-D play for an offensive-minded power forward to kind of play off of. Mo Wagner, bringing him in to kind of help offset in that center group. That's a team that needed a little bit of a more 3-point shooting, but still stout defender in that paint. Mo Wagner fits that. They have great defenders on the perimeter to help supplement what Paolo Banchero can't do for this team. I mean, when you look at the Bulls, they made a trade for Nikola Vucevic, which was like, oh, okay, but like, what's the plan? Zach LaVine, what's the plan here? They don't match together. Oh, great, you're going to go sign DeMar DeRozan, but now you're adding a third player that just does not gel well with these other two players' play styles. And then Lonzo Ball is added at the end, and you're like, Lonzo, go be the glue guy, except for don't fall apart every 5 games. That's all we need from you is just to stay healthy, and we can make this work. But then it just didn't work out because guess what? Lonzo Ball got hurt because that's all he does. You paid him a lot of money to get hurt. That's that guy. That's his body. It's not really his fault. But at the same time, you know what you're getting and know what you're putting yourself into, but you're doing it without a plan. At least have some kind of way to go about this instead of just getting absolutely nothing and hoping that it works out and ends up an NBA championship.
No, no. See, I 100% agree with you. And the thing that's the most frustrating is the reason the Bulls have been doing this and they get away with it. The reason the Bulls have been continuously over these years of just been mediocre and just average at best is because Jerry Reinsdorf, the dude literally does not wait. Charlie, are you there?
Yep, I'm so.
Oh,
I
oh,
got you.
sorry, guys. Thought my thing lagged out. We are good. All
All good.
right, that was my fault.
We got Sackman back
Yeah,
up
we are
here too
back.
as well.
But
Fuck.
the thing is though, is like I said, like Jerry Reinsdorf, like he gets away with this because the Bulls have continuously the number one attendance in the whole NBA, even though we are so shit. And here's the thing: there's no pressure on Reinsdorf. He has no pressure at all. He has the
Well,
least pressure out of
the teams
any
are going to
owner.
stay in his family. He
Well,
doesn't have to sell them. He doesn't have to worry about the success. It's all still his. Like that's
well,
the difference between some of these other teams. Like the Milwaukee Bucks, they have 10 guys owning the team basically. You have to worry about the other people's investments as well. Jerry Reinsdorf doesn't give a fuck, man. The team could lose money for the next 20 years, and he'd just be happy that it's his name that's attached to
yeah, see, but
Last time we won a playoff series, there wasn't a hair on my ball sack.
him. Right.
yeah, and I mean, and unfortunately, he owns the Sox too, who
Mm-hmm.
complete the probably worst team in baseball, if not one if, and it's like I don't know. It sucks because it is frustrating. Like I've went to two Bulls games this season, so I'm part of the problem. I have literally been part of it. But every game I go to, it is full house, and it's like, yeah, that's awesome. But at the same time, they don't deserve our attend. They don't deserve Chicago Bulls fans' attendance. Like that's crazy to be number one. And of course, a lot of these people, the Bulls are iconic, like because of Jordan. Like people want to see, like, go to Chicago and see the Bulls, and that's how it's going to be. But at the same time, a lot of these people are home people. We're Bulls fans. They're just continuously supporting this shit team, And nothing's going to change unless like, and you're right, Charlie. I agree. I think he would be content with a few years, but I think after once you hit that like, cycle of like, wow, they're really on a bad slope of not, making money. That's when they start to wake up because I'll be honest, like, I talked to you guys earlier before the podcast even started. I'm not the biggest baseball guy now, but I used to be. I used to be a big baseball fan. And like the thing is the Sox, they were talking about Reinsdorf. Everybody's been wanting him to sell forever. And never have once have I ever heard him even flirt with the idea until this last offseason when I finally saw people are like wanting to buy the Sox and he might do it.
Well, but the main reason he's willing to sell the White Sox isn't because it's a bad organization. He's willing to sell it because not one of his kids wants to run it. That's the only reason. It has nothing to do with the state of the organization. It just has to do with the fact that his kids don't want anything to do with it. If that weren't the case, if at least one of his sons wanted that team, he would not even entertain it. It doesn't matter. That's the thing. Like you say that after a few years, it knocks some sense into him, but it just won't. The White Sox have been bad every year since 2016, except for one season where you thought they had a little bit of promise, and then they did absolutely nothing with it. I mean, you can't expect success from an organization that has constantly shown you over and over again that they are going to do the bare minimum to get that success. And that is what the Chicago Bulls team, that is what this Chicago White Sox team has done. They strike gold once in a blue moon, and they just ride that until they can't ride it anymore. And once it's gone, they just say, fuck it, we'll just do enough to keep fans in the seats. As Bulls fans, I know you want to go support that organization. And I know it's really hard because of the success that they did have in the past to want to say, you know what, something needs to change. But at the same time, something needs to fucking change with this organization. We didn't get to experience Michael Jordan and those guys win the NBA Finals. We are a whole new generation of fans, and you can't keep treating us like we are those same old generations because we have not seen this type of success. We've seen Derrick Rose be really good and then die, essentially. And that's it. That's all we've seen from the Chicago Bulls team. Give us something else, man.
No, see, I 100% agree. I think my point though coming from is that like with the Bulls, we wouldn't know because every game sold out. But
Right.
The Sox, when I was in high school, okay, maybe in even middle school, kind of towards high school, like yeah, they weren't full packed, but people were going to the Sox games. Like they were. Like it wasn't like the Cubs, but like it wasn't fucking how it is now. And now,
Right.
fast forward, dude, I could go to the Sox game tonight or tomorrow whenever they play, be right behind the Sox dugout for $17. Like you can't do that in any other MLB stadium. And that's my point where it's like money does start to talk. Like when you start losing that much money, I mean, dude, the Sox, nobody goes to these games. The only games that people go to are when it's discount on food, drinks. As sad as that is, firework nights, like that's the
There are the Cubs or
only
Yankees
way.
coming in.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Nobody wants to go to the Sox, like, because they put in a shit team, and I think the fans this is the fans revolting against Reinsdorf finally that they're like, "Fuck you." I think that and you like you said, like, yeah, if his kids don't wanna run it, but then sell the team, you know what I mean? Like, then just sell it, like, because eventually it's gonna be going to somebody else, you know what I mean? If your family's not gonna take over, with the Bulls, I think that's just the only problem is when I agree with you on both points. I wish he would get the fuck out of Chicago and sell them
right.
both. But the Bulls, though, as long as people are selling out, he's going to get away with that. He's not going to change a thing because, like, honestly, of course, morally, of course, you'd want to do the right thing and get him win. But if you're him and you're continuously number one in attendance, making money by doing the bare minimum, not
Mm-hmm.
overpaying players, not marketing, you know what I mean? Like, he'd be stupid not to continue doing it. He's literally getting rewarded by fans, and that's what I'm saying with the Sox, where it's like it's the complete opposite. There's nobody there. Like, so I feel like there's somewhat of a message, and like even if that he comes out and like right now, I think the Sox are the second worst team for record wise. Last time I checked, but if they don't have another year like they did last year, there is not. I just cannot. Like I am as confident as I was with the Bears gonna fire Eberflus like mid year. there's no way he doesn't sell the Sox like after the season. Like I think if the Bulls were doomed, unfortunately, but the Sox, I think money will talk for him on that.
Sackman, if you take a look at the current Bulls roster as it sits, how many of those guys do you expect to actually be on this roster next season? Is it just going to be run it back with the same squad? Do you expect it to be a better roster or a worse roster? What is this going to look like?
I think the guys that are set in stone are Giddy, Kobe, and Matas.
Well, Giddy's going to be a free agent, though, isn't he?
I already know we're going to overpay him. We're going to overpay
him. All right.
And then, where I think we're stuck with Patrick Williams. I think Julian Phillips will be on the roster. Maybe Terry, if he's got one more year left on his deal. He's ass. Then, I don't know. Personally, what I would do if I were them is I would trade Pat Will, Lonzo, and a second-round pick for Jonathan Kuminga. Have him be your starting small forward, athletic defender that he can play. He just is not fit in the Warriors system. You put him at small forward. You got Matas at power forward. And then you do something with Vooch. Whether you buy him out, you trade him, cut him, something. And then you go and you draft that, because we're probably going to get in the early teens, 11th, 12th overall pick. Go draft the center out of Duke.
Yeah.
Malash fella. And all of a sudden you have a very fun, athletic young team that I think would at least be a little bit better than this year.
Yeah, I would like that. I like that pick because that's who I would really like that, because last time I checked, he's one of the higher rated centers in this draft. Like from what I've watched this year, at least in March Madness, the dude is pretty good, and he's definitely way faster than Vucevic.
Giant too.
Yeah, absolutely.
7'2".
And yeah, no, in these guys, I agree with you. I feel like if you can get away from the fact of getting slowness, getting Vooch away, taking that 30 minutes away and kind of just increasing it with speed, they will do wonders. But at the same time, I think they just have to have more consistency. I think they were kind of developing that at the end where it was Giddy, Kobe, those guys were getting their numbers, they consistently. Matas, he's a rookie, so you can't really grade him like that. But,
Right.
But everybody else, like Alex said, I mean, a lot of these guys are fillers. Kevin Huerter, is a guy that we got in a trade, and Tyus Jones. These guys, I can't even see them being on the team next year. Maybe Huerter, but I don't know. These guys just aren't that good. So we're just in a tough spot, and the NBA is really tough to just completely rebuild overnight. You can't do it. So no, it's gonna be tough. I will say, we're probably a few years out, I think. Unfortunately.
I think more than a few years out, but like we were talking about earlier in the show, that's fine with me, man. This is a team that I think needs to take that step backwards right now, and they need to take a few steps backwards. I think you're at a point where you've fucked yourself into a corner that you cannot get out of, and that is the biggest issue. And I think you have to go almost full rebuild, like you're saying. I'm with you. I honestly think Matas Buzelis is the only player I think is safe on this roster. I think Josh Giddey, like you're saying, Sakleh, yeah, they're probably going to overpay him because that's just what the fucking Chicago Bulls do. They're going to get a guy like that. They overpaid Luol Deng when they thought he was going to be something special. And then eventually when Derrick Rose is not playing well or is hurt and Joakim Noah is hurt and gets moved on from, Luol Deng is sitting right there and he's bad. And I think that's just how I think Josh Giddey is going to be. And at the same time, that is the perfect thing for the Bulls to do, because that's the only thing to do is overpay guys that just are only good because of other people around them.
You're lucky you're in Wisconsin talking shit about my guy Luol Deng. I will run over there right now barefoot.
I love me Luol Deng. Dude, don't get me wrong. Luol Deng was a lot of fun to watch when he was in his prime. But again, when he was not surrounded by that same strong talent. That's
because they almost killed him.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame him. I mean, they almost killed him. I mean, it felt like he was back in South Sudan dying in a tent. That's damn near what it was. This guy's been he's cold, and then they spinal tap him. I mean, fuck. I can't get over that. He had a cold, and they just spinal tapped him. That's the worst
I don't know how.
To do.
I don't know how anybody has not just quit after playing for Tom Thibodeau. I understand he helps you sometimes get to the peak of what you can do.
You get paid because he gets the best.
That's
out of you.
true.
You might die, but he gets the best out of you.
But you can't spend the money if you're dying.
I was gonna say, like, here's the thing, like, everybody always talks him up, like Brunson loves him, like you could tell, like they love him, and like I think the thing about Thibodeau I really do like is he overplaced starters. Oh my god, like entirely the whole year. But that's how he, like, gets their trust. Like, once he has your trust, I feel like you're good, like, you've earned it. It's kinda like Popovich for a long time, I feel like the same way. Like, it was like once you kinda, like, earned your stripes, like, it was like, "Alright," like, you knew you can count on him, you know? So, like, I don't know, it's which is kinda cool. But, like, with that being said, if Brunson goes down, like, it's the same thing with the Bulls. I mean, the Knicks are actually a pretty decent team. I think they'd still be okay, but still, like their playoff shots would be gone. You know what I mean? So
No, but like if a guy like Brunson goes down, you saw it with Derrick Rose when he got hurt, is that their plan to supplement that is not by giving somebody else minutes into that rotation. It's by just giving everybody else that is already in the rotation more minutes. So
yeah,
yeah, they're a better overall roster, but they're just going to start playing Josh Hart 40 minutes instead of 30 minutes. And then Josh Hart is going to get hurt. And then that's what happens with Tom Thibodeau teams. That's why I'm not fully convinced that can be a team, this New York Knicks squad, that can truly make a run in this playoffs. Because the moment one of those guys gets hurt, one of those main guys gets hurt, everybody else is going to get hurt because that's how Tom Thibodeau does things. That's one thing I do like about Billy Donovan is that it's felt like that he understands rotations a little bit more and he understands how to get the best out of the players without killing them sometimes. At the same time, him getting that under the table extension a few years back was one of the dumbest things on the face of the earth because if you really felt confident in him, you wouldn't do it under the table. I still think Billy Donovan can be a really good coach for this team given the right players and the right roster build around him. But that goes up to Arturas Karnisovas, who I think is an asshole and shouldn't have a job because
what
I
a
was so
joker,
excited when he
man.
got hired. I was
I
so
know.
excited when he got hired. And now he has done absolutely nothing. And Nate, I think I remember me and you talking about it when he got hired, and we were like, "Oh, this is going to be the turnaround for this
Yeah,
organization."
the Bulls needed. Yeah.
I still have faith in Billy Donovan. I still have faith in a couple of these players on the roster. I have no faith in Karnisovas.
No, yeah, no, it's brutal. Like, yeah, you're so right, dude. We're literally in college talking about, yeah, this might be the change the Bulls need. Like, and now we're here, fast forward, and we're like, oh, God, they still fucking suck. It's the
Right.
same shit. Like, and it's not like they've gained any like new thing. Like, they're just same. Like, they've been consistently shit. It just try to stay above float, which is hilarious. But like, I the Bulls are such a joke. It's funny. But not to change with the Bulls, but I am curious because you guys were talking about the Knicks, and I kind of do think like if they beat the Boston, I think if the Knicks beat the Celtics, they are my favorite to win the finals. Like I that would be my favorite. Like, but that was my follow-up question is what is your guys' finals prediction? Because I know we're a few, we're a couple rounds out, but still, I mean, the teams we've gotten to see a couple games. So
I
Well,
think
first off, it's easy to tell that Karnisovas was like raised in the Soviet Union. There's just like no creativity at all. My finals prediction is going to be Nuggets, Celtics.
rematch.
Yeah, I think the
I
Celtics probably beat the Knicks. Knowing the Knicks, they probably beat the Knicks in 5.
okay. Charlie, what
I
are you
like the
thinking?
Knicks, but they're just not that.
I again with the Knicks, my big thing is I don't expect them to stay healthy for the rest of this playoffs. And I think the moment one of their star players goes down, it's just going to be a chain reaction because that's how it's been with that Knicks team. So I don't really believe in them. Cleveland is fun, but now you're seeing that if they get behind and they are not at full strength, they struggle to get back and be able to score, especially if one of their star players is not on the court, one of their star scorers. So I don't know if I fully have faith in them. The Boston Celtics just won the NBA championship, and I think that they are by far the best overall roster in the NBA. Now it's going to change this offseason, but it's not changing this postseason. I think the Celtics are my Eastern Conference team. On the Western side of things, The Nuggets, again, I want to kind of go with Sakleh. The 2021 finals was really fun. I'd like to see a rematch of that again. At the same time, I just don't think this Nuggets team has enough around Nikola Jokic to help them compete in a full series against the Oklahoma City Thunder team. I also think they're really young. I think I'm going Golden State if Steph Curry can be healthy. I think I'm going Golden State, Boston Celtics matchup there.
Okay, I'm gonna finish it off. I'm going with the New York Knicks beating the Denver Nuggets in the NBA championship. Jokic, dude, he is so fun to watch. And like we said earlier in the pod, like he is coaching this team right now. So they're gonna go as far as he can take them. With the Knicks, I going into the playoffs, I said Boston would easily win this whole thing again. But I don't know. The Knicks, game two is going on. So everybody listening to this podcast, game two is on right now. I don't know what the score is, and I'm not looking it up, but we're an hour
Knicks are
in.
getting smacked.
Are they
All
really?
right.
Yeah, it's like 46-30.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. That's not that bad then. Okay.
2 minutes in the
That's it.
second quarter.
Okay. Okay. But I mean, yeah, I'm gonna go with Knicks and the Nuggets. So that will be my
All
NBA
right.
prediction.
I like that. I like that. All right, folks. In the comments below, give us your NBA Finals predictions. Tell us what you think about the Chicago Bulls roster construction. We want to hear about it. If we like what you say, we'll talk about it in the next video. A lot of fun. Please subscribe. Please like if you guys are seeing this. If this is just coming up randomly, if you're looking us up, it can really help us a lot. We're really excited to be doing this show. We have a lot of fun doing it over the first couple episodes here, so I'm really excited to keep it going. If you have something you want us to talk about next week with Chicago sports, feel free to hit us up again in the comments. Comment whatever you want us to talk about, even if it's not Chicago sports related. We talked about the NBA playoffs today. Had a lot of fun talking about that. So please, again, comment, like, subscribe, whatever you need to do. We would love to see it. We are great locker room guys. I'm Big Chuck Charlie Uczen. That's Burnsy Nathan Burns there, and Alex Sakleh, Sack Man on the right side of the screen. Have a wonderful rest of your day, folks, and we will catch you next week.